We welcome a super special guest today, Johnny Wimbrey, who is here with his beautiful wife, Crystal, and we are on our 100th episode. Woohoo, everyone!
100th episode. And who do they invite for the 100th episode?
Johnny!
J-Dub in the building. If I drink this, I got to put my pinky up.
It makes you very fancy.
All right.
Now, Johnny and Crystal are family friends. Our daughters are best friends. They go to school together.
I think they live together.
They would want to.
They're attached.
They pretty much do.
They are constantly on live or whatever, constantly sending stories to each other. I mean, nonstop.
Yeah,
like they are like living
You're
together.
in my house every night.
It's same.
Like my kids go live with mom.
Yep.
Mom Gabby in the building.
And I
All
heard
the
that they're
time.
actually trying to learn German.
Yes, we had a night where
Did you
we
know that?
did
Da.
one German night, one German word a night. We did that for a while. I was
Really?
trying to teach them German. Yes,
That's what they've been calling me.
but I have to tell
Can't
you,
go sideways on Instagram. Not on Insta because now it's sideways for everybody. Sorry.
it doesn't matter.
Just
This
gonna
is
hit
good.
you in a second.
I know. What is really funny is, so I've known that you're a successful businessman, and I knew that you wrote a book, and I knew all those things, but I don't typically research my friends. But
Yeah.
when I invited you, to come on the 100th show, I had to
do your research.
prepare and I had to research, and then I was like, holy crap. He charges $15,000 to $25,000 for an hour show, and I'm like, and I just asked him to come on our show. I'm like, oh my God, we owe you
Honored.
big. I know.
Oh,
it's
this
so
is easy. Wait till I get you on my show.
Well, she started texting me last night and she was like, oh my gosh, we better start listening to Johnny. He is so, like, you have no idea everything he's done. I was like, okay. She was so excited. Texted me at like,
Oh my gosh,
1
I
in
was
the
like,
morning.
you inspirational
Thank
on
you.
on a different chain level, like completely.
Aw.
I'm like, my God, I want to do all the
I'm
things
never
you
leaving the show.
say. So, your beautiful wife Crystal and you have been together for a long time.
Long time.
I mean, you guys are the cutest couple. They do the coolest photo shoots. I'm always like,
Yes.
my God, like super famous.
This
like
is definitely a women's show.
Hollywood.
Photo
So
shoot.
whose idea are the photo shoots though?
Yes.
My wife.
Oh, I thought you were going to point to yourself.
No. She has to kind of set me up to get to a photo shoot. She won't tell me like too far in advance because I won't remember, but she'll make sure I don't have anything to do that day.
Smart.
And she'll tell me on the way we should be in and out within an hour.
Okay.
In the last 2 photo shoots, family photo shoots, we were in and out an hour.
Good.
It's
But
crazy.
you actually do it. If
Yeah,
I try to do that, Patrick is like, I'm out.
He doesn't
No,
want
she-
more than one picture.
She sets me up. Yeah. Don't do the same picture over and over and over again. I'm like, we ain't got it right now. We ain't never going to get it.
Right.
We
Yeah.
suck at this.
Oh my goodness. So you have 3 children. You have
Yes.
Psalms, Hannah, and Honor.
Yes.
They are gorgeous.
Thank you.
I
So
love them all.
So Psalms is the oldest. We named her Psalms, obviously, songs of praise. Psalms, and then Psalms Noel.
Wow.
And
So
then Hannah Joel. Hannah means God's grace, God's mercy. So Hannah Joel. And then we have Honor Montrell. Honor Montrell, strong as a mountain, the honorable mountain. So
Wow.
Honor was a surprise for my wife.
Not for you?
No, it was 8 years later. 8 years later, and I named him Honor because God honored me with the boy. And I would tell her, you know, after Hannah was born, like, God told me I'm going to have a boy. She's like, well, I'm done. So 8 years later, she was in this transition of her medical device or whatever y'all call it. And I knew I had 4 weeks to get my boy in there.
Ah, you did it.
So I named him Honor because God honored me with those 4 weeks.
That
and
is incredible.
which turned into a boy.
That is
That's pretty
incredible.
cool story.
I
though.
know.
Surprise, Crystal.
True story.
And he is adorable. I love him.
Thank you.
So can you start like your story, like our podcast, what we do, we interview people because we believe everyone has a unique story. And that's kind of what you're starting to do with your book
Yes.
stuff, which is so great because when I talked to Crystal, I was like, oh my gosh, this is kind of what we're doing.
Awesome.
Because everyone has a unique story. And famous people get to tell it all the time, but regular people don't.
Yeah.
So that's what we have done. And we try
That's
to
so
inspire
cool.
people and learn from people's stories and everything. And then
Everyday people.
Everyday
And
people.
we always say it's a non-judgmental space, so people can say and whatever they've been through without any judgment. So
right.
we've had a lot of
So
interesting
you're
people.
saying that people on social media don't judge you?
Oh no, they do. That's true. But in this little bit
This is a safe environment to open up and tell the world who you are. But I can't vouch for my listeners
no,
because I don't know if they go.
No, I cannot. Just us two. And Spider.
That's right. It's a safe environment until we release the audio,
Right.
the video.
That's about
I
right.
can't make promises. Actually, no.
Listen, with everything that I've been through in my life, I'm cool and I'm prepared pretty much for anything. My earliest memory of life was living in a battered women's shelter. I wrote the book From the Hood to Doing Good. Cue the picture. That's my book.
No,
So
we are.
yeah, so From the Hood to Doing Good. And the subtitle of the book is really the title of the book. It's From Adversity to Prosperity Through the Choices You Make. And I believe that life is, where you are in life right now is a direct relationship to the decisions that we've made in our life. My earliest memory of life was living in a battered women's shelter. I didn't do anything to deserve that. Like I didn't make a decision to be there. So there are things that will happen.
How old were you?
First memory I had was like 3.5 years old. And I just remember going to a refrigerator door and reaching for some milk and someone saying no. I don't know why that's my first memory, but that's my first memory. And that's how I found out because, it wasn't our milk. It belonged to another family who was in the shelter.
Wow.
And that's kind of where it started coming together, where it started making sense. Okay, we're here temporarily. Like nothing in this place do we own. We're here for protection. And that's my first memory in life. So it goes back to say, okay, Johnny, you said it's based on the choices you make. Well, you didn't choose that. You didn't do anything to deserve it. And that's very true. So life will throw curveballs.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't predict. The unpredictable is going to happen. And what I teach people around the world, and I have clients from, multimillionaires to multi-broke-aires who want to be millionaires, and and everything in between, from celebrities to high school coaches to politicians, the people that I've coached. And here's what I tell people: it's not what happens to us; it's what we allow to happen in us when it happens to us. So there are things that happened in my life, but I get to decide how it happens in me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where bitterness comes from. And I am so afraid of bitterness. I run from
Me
it
too.
because being angry and being bitter is totally different. I could be pissed off at you and, kick your ass, but that doesn't mean I'm bitter at you. We can have a drink later on. Bitterness changes your character. It actually changes who you are from the inside out. You look in the mirror one day, 10 years later, and you don't even like what you're seeing in the mirror because you allowed a circumstance or a place and time to happen in your life, and you allowed it to happen in you. And then it made you bitter, and bitter changes your character. Like nobody wants to be
Wow.
bitter.
No.
People like to get mad. Like people love to get mad. Like I've been to my family reunions. I'm like, you're not just mad, you happy mad. Like right now, you are happy that you're mad. But
I know people like that. Yeah.
but nobody really likes to become bitter.
Mm-hmm.
But most people can't. Most people can't decipher the difference. They feel like they're still angry, but they don't realize that it's rooted so deep in you that it has turned into bitterness. And bitterness causes you to make decisions. Like, you look at, people who are haters, people who literally put energy into sabotaging.
Yes.
That's bitterness. Like that comes from bitterness. You can only do that when you become bitter. Unless
Right.
you're just a conniving person that does anything for money.
Wow.
Oh God. A whole different thing.
Yeah.
What would you say to someone who says like, because how did you change? Like, how did you not become bitter? And how would you, because we've always said, well, some people just don't even have the people around them to tell them not to feel that way. Well, how would they know to feel different if no one tells them?
You know what? I think there's God put something in us to make us, super conscious of what's
Okay.
right and wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that we all have opportunities to make decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not paying attention when the opportunity is there, then that's the problem.
Okay.
Change comes from a dripping process.
Mm-hmm.
And, I have so many people, you'll be amazed. I'll be at, seminars speaking all over the world, whether I'm in Israel or Greece or Cyprus or South America or Australia. I found that everybody wants the exact same thing. Everybody wants increase. They want to increase mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Sometimes they don't know how to articulate it financially. 'Cause he didn't say financially. Yes, financially. It's part of the ingredients. But I was answering your question. It's a dripping process, but you got to put yourself in position to be dripped on.
Okay.
Like people coming to me all the time, like, Johnny, you know, can you change my husband? Like, no. Can you change my son?
You're not a magician?
No, I can't change him. You know, my good friend Gary Eby says that change is a door that can only be opened from the inside. Mm-hmm. So if the dripping process is going on, at some point that door needs to be open, because change comes from the inside. It doesn't come from an exterior power. It comes from an interior power that's inside you. So I can't change anybody. Right. I'm not a change person. You know, Johnny Wimbrey, the motivational speaker, Johnny Wimbrey, the, you know, life coach or celebrity life coach. I kind of despise, I don't despise those titles, but you'll never see those on my business card. I believe that I walk people through and to the process of change, and it's their responsibility to subscribe to the possibilities.
Right.
And it's the key word really is possibilities. Are you open to possibilities? So if you find yourself in an angry situation that turns into bitterness, you got to ask yourself, I was open to becoming angry. Why am I not open to the possibilities of not being angry?
Right. I agree with all of that.
All of it.
Yeah. Of course you do.
I do.
It's me. No.
I just wonder with certain people, because we tend to feel so bad for some people that are in, like, they can't get out of their own way, and me and her will be like, well, they don't have a chance. There's no one around them to help them. So I'm like, well, maybe that's
so.
Not
Here's
true.
the deal. So here's the deal. Some people believe the lie for themselves, and some people believe the lie for other people. Right?
Okay, yeah.
And the job is to not believe the lie.
Mm-hmm.
The lie is they're not going to change, or they you know, we put so much energy in changing people or wanting to change people, when the fact is we don't have the power to change anyone, but we do have the power to introduce people to the possibilities that change exists, right? So, you know, like my wife, you guys are a lot like my wife. You want to save the world, right? You know.
We do.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I want to save the world too, but here's the deal. You know, I think that sometimes we play mini gods, and God's saying, I can't even do anything because every time I want to work a miracle, you're giving them $20.
Oh yeah.
Every time I'm trying to create a miracle, you're giving them a ride to work. And God is saying, hey, listen, I can't be me.
Yeah.
If you continue to manufacture these small miracles, and I'm not saying don't help people.
Right.
I help people all the time, but not again and again and again.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I help more people who never ask than I do who do ask.
That's very interesting.
Wow.
Mom.
I want to know more about, battered women's shelter.
Yeah.
What came next?
So I started school in San Jose, California, because that's where they shipped us. They shipped us all the way. I say ship. They FedExed us. No.
Packaged you up on a truck.
It's actually pretty comfortable. I'm just kidding. So when I was a kid, they sent us from Fort Worth, Texas to San Jose, California. Mm-hmm. So we had two decisions. My mom tells the story. We have two decisions, New York or California.
Your mom and two older brothers. Okay.
So I'm the baby boy
You're the baby.
from my mother. Yeah. And I have two older brothers. My brother Willie's 11 months older than I am. My brother Larry's serving 40 years in prison. He's 2 years older than I am. So, and that's why I talk about bitterness, the difference, because
40 years, 40.
Third sentence in prison, been in and out of jail. That's a whole nother story. But and I talk about it in my book, From the Hood to Doing Good. It's called the U Factor. We're all in the same environment right now. We're hearing the exact same thing. We have the same lighting, the exact same, everything's the same, but we're all having different experiences, because, how you're listening to me right now is a character building process. How you're not listening is a character building process. Mm-hmm. You could be in the same environment and walk out with totally different results based on your ability or inability to be involved. And my brother, who's older than me, he remembers way more than I remember. So maybe that's my justification of the lie that says that's why he's in prison, because he remembers it and I don't. Well, that will be justifying the lie. That's not true. The truth is he subscribed to that lifestyle. Mm-hmm. You know, Sigmund Freud says you're a product of your environment, but I believe that you could be in an environment and somehow never be tempted to stick your hand out to see if the fire's hot. My brother Willie was that kid. He was the one who never got in trouble. He's 11 months older than I am. We were kind of like growing up like twins. You think Hannah and Psalms are close. Well, me and Willie were super close because we're only 11 months apart, right? Like I have no memory of not knowing Willie. Like there's none.
Right.
Pretty much like twins. So with all that being said, Willie somehow never got in trouble. I'm not saying didn't like trouble at home, but you know, I've been arrested. I have a felony arrest as a teenager. I made a lot of bad decisions. I was a drug dealer. I smoked weed. I did a lot of things as, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old that no kid should ever see, do, or even know exist.
8?
Yeah. I could roll a joint at 8.
What?
Go get one. I'm just kidding.
Hi, let me knock on the door.
No.
Yeah, you're in the right place.
I smelled it in the hallway. I smelled Jesus in the hallway.
A lot of it around here.
Wow.
No, but with all that being said, same environment, we all walked out totally different. So when I say you believe the lie or I believe the lie, that my brother Larry is in prison because he remembers more than me. Well, that's not true. He's in prison because he made decisions to get there. You don't accidentally become successful, and you don't accidentally become a successful failure. Ooh, somebody hashtag me in that.
Wow, that is good.
Write that down. I'll forget I said it.
We're going to make a quote for you.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. So
I feel like I need to do push-ups after I do. I got to do something very manly when I walk out of here. Push-ups. So I got to go. I'm going to help somebody jumpstart their car in the parking lot. I'm going to change a tire on my way home. All this Posh.
hey, you're wearing a Posh shirt too.
Yeah.
We just said that.
This is my style, though.
Yes.
I do like bling. I do like bling.
You
Subtle
fit
bling.
in.
I do
You're
fit
very
in.
blingy.
I should have your headphones, though.
Yeah,
okay.
no, we usually have other ones,
Yeah,
but somebody forgot them.
It's all good. I wouldn't wear that.
Mine are pink and sparkles. You want to wear that one? He's like going to spit it out.
You'll never know.
So how old was your brother when he had to go to prison?
Had to go to prison.
Had to.
How old were you when you were forced to go to prison? So my brother Larry, who I love, I'll die for. I just don't feel sorry for him. Like I don't feel sorry for me, based on decisions that we made. But my brother Larry has been in and out of jail since I was in 7th grade. So that means he's like 9th or 10th grade for him.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he was already in and out of jail. My entire middle school year, my brother was in jail most of the time.
And many what?
And he's only 2 years older than me. So I think I'm 7th grade. I failed 2nd grade, so a little bit older than the rest of them.
Second grade?
I did,
Second?
Oh, man.
Second or seventh?
No. No. I thought you were going to say me too. I was going to high five you. But there's no way he said 2. There's no way.
Second grade.
I couldn't stay inside the lines.
No.
Stand inside.
No, we were living in battered women's shelters, being moved around. So we didn't have a normal life.
Right.
I failed because they said I was too immature. That's what they said.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is not necessarily what you're doing in the classroom. It's your, attitude.
And your attendant, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was definitely, yeah.
Wow. So then I know that you came back to Fort Worth, correct?
Yeah, so we ended up coming back to Fort Worth after I failed the 2nd grade. I failed 2nd grade in California. So here's the deal. I started elementary school in San Jose. In 1st grade, I would come back to Fort Worth, Texas, and meet my father for the first time. My mother, we would come back. I think we came back on a Greyhound bus. Same way we went. So when my mother came back, she stayed with her parents. My mom's white, my dad's black. Let me give you a visual so you can appreciate this story. My father, his personality is like Samuel L. Jackson on Pulp Fiction.
Wow.
And I'm not exaggerating. I've seen my dad have conversation with people with a gun in his hand, and that was normal. I wouldn't even be afraid. That's just dad, right? So that's his personality.
Around.
Yeah, that's what his. Yeah,
Okay.
You think I'm joking?
No, I actually think you're very serious. I'm envisioning.
So I was raised around that. So when I met my father, for the first time in my life, I felt protected.
Wow.
I felt secure. My mother gave me love and nurturement. I didn't really feel like I was missing anything with my mom. My mom would count out food stamps and one for you, one for you, one for you. And then she'd get down to the coins, one for you. So we actually thought we had money in some weird way. when we were in California, but we didn't. I mean, we sit on the kitchen floor with no furniture saying, God is great, God is good, let us thank us for our food. So that was how we started after the shelter. So I don't know why we came back, but we came back and we stayed with my father, and my mother went to go stay with her parents, and she would pick us up on the weekends. So one weekend she picks us up for summer or for a weekend during summer and took us back to California. So this time she stole us. Like, you know, first time she ran for her life. Second time she's like, I want to go back to California. So and I realized, like, bad husband doesn't mean bad father, because he's actually he's an amazing father. He protected us. Very hard, but I've never felt so protected and provided for in my life. So went back to San Jose, California. I started the second grade, failed the second grade there, and that summer my mom would put us on an airplane and send us back. She said, I'm sending you back and I'll be there in 2 weeks. Well, I didn't hear anything else but the word send. I'd never been without her. Never not had access to my mother. So that was a very hard, traumatic experience for me. I jumped off the airplane. I ran down the stairs. I ran back to my mom. I found her. I was like, please don't let me go. Don't make me go. And my
How
brother
old are you now?
I'm right now.
No, I mean when this happens.
So what's first grade? What's
Six,
after?
six,
seven.
like
Yeah.
Oh,
So I
that's
run
the
down,
worst.
and what's funny is I never tell this story. At the airport, while we were waiting for the plane, I wanted a quarter to play Joust, a video game.
Oh, wow.
Remember Joust?
Oh, yeah.
So I wanted to play Joust, and I remember it like it was yesterday, and I was maybe 6 or 7, and she said no, and I said, I hate you.
Your
And I
mom.
Yeah, and it's certain things you can get away with your white family. You can't get away with your black family. Like I could never say that in the black side of my family, but the white side of my family, I would extra stretch it a little bit.
That's funny.
And I just remember saying that, and I think I was in pain because you're sending me away. I just want a quarter to play Joust.
Yeah.
I mean, and just I don't know why I said that, but I remember she looked at me and she said, "Don't ever say that to me again."
Yeah.
And it was different. The eyes, like everything. Like I may not, like she didn't say this, but I don't know when I'm going to see you again. Don't tell me you. And first, I was mature enough to understand. I was like, sorry. And so all that happened that night. Get on the airplane. I run off. I go back to her. I give her a hug. I'm sorry. And I'm crying. Please don't make me go. And my brothers are, come on, it's going to be okay. She'll be here in 2 weeks. Well, 2 weeks went by and I'm like, Mom's coming. My dad, he just, has in his own Samuel L. Jackson way is like, all right, we'll see. And like, my mom's coming. She's coming.
I actually have chills right now.
3 weeks, 4 weeks,
She didn't come.
months, years.
What?
I would see her again 3 years later.
You didn't see her?
For 3 years. And there are times we didn't talk, and I thought she was dead. In my mind, I'm like, there's no way my mother wouldn't be reaching out to us. She must be dead. And I would cry myself to sleep in the closet. I would, I didn't want nobody to see me crying, and because my other brothers weren't crying, I didn't see them crying, and it was really, really hard, but it built my character. It really, and I don't wish this upon anybody. When people say, I want your story, Johnny. I want to be an author. I want to be, travel around the world speaking. I was like, well, you kind of have to go through what I went through if you want what I got. It's like, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody. You should get it another way, not my way.
Right.
So with all that being said, we came back to Fort Worth, Texas, and we'd stay with my father. This time we're not doing weekends with mom, so it's all dad, right? So my mom shows up 3 years later. My oldest brother, Larry, who's in prison, went to go live with my mother and her new husband. We would go on the weekends, but we refused to live with her because me and Willie somehow kind of feel sorry for my dad a little bit.
Right.
So we stayed with my dad because we knew we had structure and we needed structure. Like we were like mischievous. Willie's the preacher. Willie's the ordained minister preacher and is a high school. And he's a principal right now in Mansfield, Texas. And crazy thing about Willie is Willie could pick locks, like those old locks, like the twisting locks.
Yeah.
Like he literally could pick them, and he would spend all day until he did it. So like if he was on the other side of the law, it'd be a real bad situation with all three of us over there. So but my dad created structure. I still did things I shouldn't have done, like sold drugs and crack cocaine when I was 14, 15. But here's the deal. I was so terrified of my father finding out that I was good at being bad. I never got caught. Never. I had a private detective take pictures of me one time, and I stopped that day.
Now, was this because of the school you went to, or like how did you even
It's
come
just the
upon
end.
that? Like, how do you? I mean,
And I was like, how do you come upon drugs?
like selling crack cocaine at 14.
You couldn't even walk. You couldn't even walk 30 feet away from my house without being exposed to it. Like
Really?
it was there. It was like,
There. Yeah.
I actually remember fathers disappearing in the community.
What do you mean?
Like
Disappearing?
when crack cocaine came into the community, and now they're talking about it very openly. But government, the mafia, I mean, they particularly only allow crack cocaine into the black neighborhoods because they knew how powerful it was. It would destroy any family. I don't care what color you are.
Right.
It wasn't like heroin's horrible, but it wasn't like cocaine. It wasn't like that. It was crack cocaine. Like, it's like, you know, it's demonic. You take a hit of that stuff, like there's a demon that comes with it, right?
Right.
So I literally seen fathers, good fathers, start disappearing, no longer coming to lunch with the kids.
I see what you're saying.
I saw it. I mean, that was my era. So like in the 80s, I saw fathers who were actively in the kid's life start disappearing. And by the time I was in 7th grade, fathers were almost non-existent. My dad's a garbage man, so he got up at work, 4 a.m. in the morning. So my dad would just pop up at school. So I'm always having like, I'm in trouble, but I got to be kind of good because my dad may pop up.
Wow.
So, and I remember that era.
Wow.
Crazy, right?
That is scary.
That is
A title of my book, The Era of Errors.
Whoa.
.com.
That's tough to say.
Go to CoStarAuthor.com if you want to become an author. Right now, fast forward, I'm actually, I speak all over the world. I do these type of things all over the world. I love doing it. And I'm kind of moving into a place in my life right now where I'm duplicating myself. I'm getting joy out of duplicating myself. So I'm training speakers. I'm training people to become published authors. I'm coaching people to understand, the personal development arena, which is, over 100 billion with a B a year industry. 100 billion a year industry. So coaching and life coaching and speaking and becoming authors and things, it's just a huge industry, right? So now, instead of me being on the path of being that famous speaker, which I've never really had a desire to be that guy or that girl, that guy.
Gosh, are you good at it?
Thank you.
So good at it.
But you know what I like more than anything else is doing stuff like this. Like right now I'm in negotiations for a television show in LA, and we're negotiating right now. I'm getting more joy out of doing stuff like this. So, and I'm getting more joy out of elevating people's platforms and helping them with their brand to become the famous speaker. Because if I don't have the desire to be that person, at least I can help create it. So I'm looking for some badass speakers. I'm literally on the hunt looking for people who are better than me.
That's gonna be very hard,
Yeah.
almost
Have
impossible.
Have you found any?
But it's fun. It's fun.
But can you actually teach someone that is not a public speaker to be one?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Go to CoachJohnny.com. CoachJohnny.com. I'll show you. And then if you want to be an author, go to CoStarAuthor.com. You could teach anybody to be a communicator. Motivational speaker is different. So you got to think like consulting. Like you guys have your own brand. You have your own, your own product line. As a consultant, there's another level of income that you may be missing out on because we fall so in love with our brand. We miss the fact that we can help other people create their brands with the fear of creating competition. But look at the Shark Tank. It's okay to help elevate other individuals. Just get a piece of the pie.
Right.
So I got people who are co-authoring books with me, and I'm elevating their voice to the entire world. CoStarAuthor.com if you're interested. So I'm elevating their voice.
I am so interested.
So, but here's what I do is I let you borrow my global credibility by becoming my business partner, and I'm saying, hey, listen, you've got to read Gabby's chapter in my book.
Right.
So now that you're in my book and you have a chapter in my book, that's instant credibility, right? And there are things in the fashion community, the fashion world that you guys do that you can help elevate other people, but you borrow, you own a piece of their brand. Right. So if I help somebody become a successful speaker or a published author, and I negotiate that I own, a percentage of things that you're going to develop in the next 3 years, is that a win-win situation, right? I'm telling the world who you are. Les Brown's one of the most powerful speakers on the planet. Les Brown is my mentor, and Les literally gave me and my wife were talking about this on the way over here. He gave me his microphone and said, "Hey, show me what you got." He wasn't intimidated by me. He's one of the best speakers on the planet. And last week he was introducing me to someone over the phone, a very powerful person. And his introduction to me is like, this is the only speaker I've trained who has become better than me. So you're like one of the world's greatest speakers on the planet.
How did that make you feel?
He said, I don't believe it, first of all.
Why not?
But I mean, you just got to know Les. Les is like, I mean, I can listen to Les tell the same story for the last 15 years and still be on the edge of my seat. So to say that I'm better than him, you know, I don't know if somebody's heard me do the same, and I never do the same speech, and neither does Les, but you don't go to the restroom when Les is talking.
Okay, I want you to know I didn't go to sleep last night because I kept listening to you. I was watching videos. I was watching interviews. I was like, oh my gosh. I was texting her going, my goodness, he is so inspirational, so motivational.
Thank you.
So I'm not just saying it to be like nice or anything. It's the truth. It's like, it's like life-changing though. It really is.
And that's my goal is, you know, if I'm not really worried about how big of a mark I leave in the world.
Boy,
I'm more focused on creating marks that will create more marks. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't have to get the credit. If I teach somebody something that empowers their life to become a global personality, and they're changing lives around the world because of something that I said 20 years ago, and let's say I don't even live to see the results,
right?
I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
I'm okay with my purpose outliving me and never getting the recognition for it.
That says a lot about who you are as a person.
I heard you say that you don't ever want to feel like you're better than anyone, which is amazing. Impossible. I mean, that's.
Well, okay, go ahead, finish that sentence.
No, because I was like, wow. And then I saw that interview where you said that, and then the person said, well, how do you say that and then not be like, there are people out there that say I'm not better than anyone, but then they should change themselves kind of thing.
It's like I'm not better than anybody, and Michael Jackson gets out there and goes, anybody can do this. No, okay, I get what you're saying, but here's what I mean when I say that. I think that when you somehow convince yourself, even if it's just a small moment, that you're better than someone else, that's where arrogance gets to slip in. And when you open that door for arrogance to slip in, it's going to show up. And my definition of arrogance and confidence is totally different. And people who don't understand the difference between confidence and arrogance, they're always going to be intimidated by confident people. So I don't justify my confidence. Like I'm extremely confident. I'm a child of God. I'm created by the person who created Earth, and if I'm an heir of His, then I got access to anything He created. That's where my confidence comes from. It doesn't come from me. It comes from the one who created me. So confidence, I got that. Arrogance is when you think you're better than someone else. Arrogance arrogance. Here's my prayer. God, the moment that I believe that I'm better than somebody else in my own mind, take me home. I don't want to live on earth thinking I'm better than someone else. And that keeps me grounded and keeps me humble. It doesn't mean that I can't be a better speaker than someone else. Doesn't mean that I can't be a better personality. Doesn't mean that, I'm going to win an Emmy one day with my own television show. I guarantee I will. But it doesn't mean that my show may be better than the other shows based on the audience, but I'm not a better person. And I've just convinced myself to believe that if God created you and He created me, I'm not better than you, and you're damn sure not better than me.
Right.
And that's it. Like I'm not trying to be better than anybody else. I'm just acknowledging the fact that you're not better than me. So it's really when I say it, I'm actually listening to the opposite of what I'm saying. When I say I'm not better than anybody else, what I'm basically saying is you're not better than me.
Yeah.
There's nothing that you can obtain that I can't obtain. You may have worked your ass off to be a gymnastic, to be a gymnast, right? I will never be a gymnast because I didn't work my ass off. But if I started the same day you started, with the passion and the burning desire that's inside me, I will whoop your ass in gymnastics. I just didn't start when you started.
You don't want to start now? Real quick.
I've seen you. Were you a cheerleader or
no? Well, I've been a dancer since I was little.
Oh yeah, obviously.
And now I'm doing acro with my boyfriend.
I see you posting stuff. I'm like,
so,
why is she in the air right now? Is she going to land anytime soon?
I know. I asked that same question. Are you putting me down? Yeah. You guys should try it. You and Crystal.
What?
Acro, yoga. It's fun.
Oh, we do that every night.
Oh. Good for you.
Let me see. I ain't going to show you the position. She apologized. So this is the 100th show.
Yes.
This
And
is
you
a
guys chose
100
me.
We
There
chose
may not
you.
be a 101. Johnny killed the show.
This is the
Look at
best
this.
show
Look at
ever.
this, babe.
I know.
100th show. So this is the one. Can I interview you?
Yes, we would love it.
Okay, tell me about your first show.
It was just her and I.
It was the introduction about our life,
Mm-hmm.
And we were not very good. I don't think as good, right,
No,
Spider?
not even close. That's how it goes.
We're
Yeah,
much
you can't
better
be.
now. Which is funny because when you look at the top 10, because we can see every week like
Oh,
what's
really?
in the top 10 downloads, and that one's always up there. And I'm like, oh, God,
I know.
so
love
bad.
it.
Don't listen to that one.
People got to start somewhere, though.
I
So
know,
what it-
know us.
And, you know, the presentation might be off, but the story's still there, and that's
The
good.
story is still there. Yeah.
Why did you start the show?
We talk a lot. Well, Patrick, you go ahead.
It was actually Patrick's idea because we have people over all the time.
Her husband, Patrick.
Yeah,
Yes.
we have
My people
over.
don't know who Patrick
Oh
is.
yeah, sorry.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Our people don't need, not everybody. My husband Patrick, he has to deal with her and her friends and people over all the time, and we just
Oh, yeah, I've
talk
heard about
about
this.
everything. And he's always going, "My gosh, this is crazy talk."
Yeah.
So he said he needs to start a show because
Wow, that's
it's
funny.
just the people have such great stories.
So it's organic.
Yeah,
Very.
Yeah,
all organic.
I love that. And I think
Yes.
the key word right now in entertainment is organic
Mhm.
and social experiment.
Right.
Those are the two buzzwords right now in Hollywood.
What's
Really?
the social experiment?
Social experiment is, you know, just something like you bring a guy into your show, 100th show. You give him a Posh glass with a
More
green
in there?
straw. Look at this. Look at the color of my drink. The
Do you
color,
need more in there?
the color of my drink is glowing. How did you get the glow?
Yeah,
That's a
let's
social experiment. What is that? No, I'm good.
Are you sure?
I need some more clear stuff.
Okay. You want more vodka in there?
Actually, pour some in here. This is busy. Like, you'll get me on camera and I have purple. My teeth are gonna be growing. My glowing.
No, they're not. That
How did you get the liquid to glow? Yes. Are you gonna judge me? It's Friday,
Yeah, it's Friday.
and you know what? The truth is, I don't have a job. I can drink whatever I want to drink.
Exactly.
I am the
Sure.
job.
I
But you
only
know
drink
what?
at work.
It's already 5 o'clock in Austria. So
Okay.
you're good.
Austria in the building. That's Starovia. How do you say cheers and
Prost.
Prost.
Prost? Yeah,
It's on
Yes,
the- it's on the
Prost.
bottom of those glasses.
yeah, Prost. My favorite thing is I learned cheers everywhere I go in the world.
Yes.
So like Chin Chin, Nostrovia, Brosk, Skål, which
Where's
is your
that?
neighboring countries. That's Sweden and Norway.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Skål.
Did they teach you about looking in the eyes when you do that
Yes.
stuff?
That's
a
very
Yeah,
important.
I'm working with her on that. When I'm in Europe, I will pause and look in your eye when I say cheers.
She lets everybody know, and we anytime we're anywhere, we're like,
It's pretty serious.
it's
Yeah.
very,
It's pretty
very
serious in Europe. Yeah.
It's a whole
Because in
thing,
America,
though.
we ready to drink. Like, hey, cheers. Oh, what's up? My bad. Like, we ready to drink.
But it's funny because you'll notice, like, we've been teaching Lee to do it, and then when you go out and suddenly you're used to looking people in the eye, when someone doesn't, it feels very rude. You're kind of like,
Oh, yeah.
hello, we're cheersing.
I'm
like,
pretty
pay
forgiving.
attention.
Can blind people give a toast?
They can still look you in the eye. They just can't see you.
Well, how do they know where they're looking?
That's a good question.
Okay, so there's somebody on my social media channel. Let's ask these beautiful ladies a question. So my wife is going to read a question. If it comes to, just throw your finger up, babe. Say somebody has a question. So you have a question. I'm taking over for Tupac. I keep looking at the logo because for some reason I want to say Tupac.
We've heard that more than once.
Really?
Yes.
So Two Posh Podcast,
Yes.
Two Posh Podcast at all social media platforms. Ask them a question. These girls, these ladies are
You can ask us anything.
beautiful from the inside out.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Go finish your interview, but like wave if somebody has a question.
So I loved something to you sometimes on Facebook or whatever. You do that minute
60 seconds.
60
yeah.
seconds. I love those. They're so fast and they help you. But the one time when Anthony Bourdain passed away, that next day you
I almost
were
deleted
like,
that.
No, that was so good.
Thank you.
That was
I need to hear that because I
unbelievable.
almost deleted it.
No,
I turned it to look a little.
well, you were like really. Like
I was very
emotional.
posh.
Yeah. He was very upset about it, and
Mhm.
I love what
I
you
was.
said about it, though. Do you remember what you said?
I felt like I'm in position to help people like that.
Yes.
And when that happens, I take personal responsibility. And I don't really know how to explain that to people, but like when Les Brown, when the 9/11, that kind of stuff happens, Les Brown Like the shooting that happened in Florida at the club where where
Yes.
the gay club
Yes.
or whatever. When that happened, Les Brown called me and said, I mean, Les has no affiliation other than the fact he used to live in Orlando.
Mhm.
And he called me and I could tell he's really upset. And I was like, what's wrong? He said, I should have been in position to help that man.
Wow.
The man who killed those people. It's like he took responsibility.
Wow.
It's like, I'm a motivational speaker.
Mm-hmm.
My voice could have saved all those people if I could have just got to that person. And he takes responsibility for not getting to them. Like when Whitney Houston passed away, I took personal responsibility for not getting to her. And that hit me a little bit harder because Whitney Houston wrote the song, I Believe the Children Are the Future, right?
Yes.
And that song is what I would listen to when I was crying myself to sleep in the closet because I didn't know where my mother was. So that's, it's the only song in my life I've ever wrote every word to. So when she passed away, I felt like a failure as a life coach. I just did. I took responsibility. And I felt like if I really wanted to have access to her, I could have. So I didn't work hard enough. And then her daughter did the same
Oh
thing.
my gosh.
And I talked to Bobby Brown after Whitney Houston passed away.
You did.
Yeah, and I didn't think to I'm more aiming towards him, wanting to help him.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I believe that if I would have put more effort, and the truth is, you really don't make money when you work with these people because you're just donating your services, right? And because celebrities, unless it's mandated by the law, they're not going to. A lot of them won't. Majority of them, just like regular people, I guess, they won't invest money to become a better person. They'll invest money to go work out. They'll invest money in different areas that they
That's
deem important. They'll invest money on their rims, on the trimming of their Bentleys. They'll invest money in that area because we're more concerned about what people see than who we are. And so I do take personal responsibility in a sense when celebrities pass away, like Anthony Bourdain. I mean, I asked my wife, I'm watching Shark Tank, I'm watching The Prophet, I'm watching Anthony Bourdain. So I'm like, how are you going to take that away from me?
Right.
Like, you take us around the world with you. You bring us together through the art of food. You're bringing culture, like Donald. I mean, no offense, but we have presidents, not just this one, but we have presidents. We have people in leadership who are the author of division, author of confusion, because that's just what politics does.
Mm-hmm.
You make this side go up, which makes this side go down. And Anthony Bourdain was different. Call Anthony Bourdain a racist. You can't.
Right.
You can't. Other people, you'd be like, I can see that. Maybe. I'm not sure. But Anthony Bourdain, call him a sexist. You can't.
Right.
Call him anything under the umbrella of division. You can't.
Right.
There's not that many people like that
Right.
on the planet.
Right.
He didn't have unity within himself.
No.
That's so sad too.
So so when I did that video, I was pissed.
Mm-hmm.
I was mad at him. I was mad at me. I'm like, I should have my own television show. If I had my own television show, Anthony Bourdain would have tuned in and he would know that you can't make permanent decisions in temporary situations. And I could have been that voice where Anthony could have saw it, but I'm on my lazy ass and I'm not pushing hard enough and I'm not working hard enough to have my own show. So all that is going on in me.
Right now.
And I'm taking personal responsibility. Yeah.
Wow.
Every time something happens, I just take personal responsibility that if I worked harder, I would have more exposure and people would see that I have a heart and a passion to help people in all areas of life. Like I want to interview the Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. I want to interview him. I want to have a conversation. I don't want to judge him. I want to interview him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to interview somebody who's who for some crazy reason is an ongoing client for sex trafficking. Not the child. I want to interview the person who's doing it.
Wow.
What's in your head to make you think that's okay? What happened to you as a child to make you think it's okay to have sex not only with another child, but a freaking zombie child?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's drugged up. How do you get pleasure out of having sex with a drugged up anything?
Right.
Like what is mentally going on?
I want to
yeah.
I think that our world is at a place of judgment to the place where we're not compassionate to people and what they've gone through. Now, with all that being said, let me say this. I have zero compassion for anybody who maliciously takes advantage of a child in any sense.
Oh,
yeah.
Like
no.
I'm the guy that says, line them up.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shooting squad. Let's take them out. Like, you better pray right now that God accepts you in heaven because you are no longer accepted on earth.
Yeah.
Like, I'm that guy, right? But I still want to interview you.
I want to know what's going on.
I want to, how can I get into your head to prevent
Other people.
this and other? Like, people say bullying, and I think bullying is an epidemic. I really do think it is the true definition of an epidemic. But I would not be who I am today if I wasn't bullied.
I hear that a lot.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just not the guy, hey, give everybody a trophy on the team for and I'm like,
Gosh, we say
Like-
it
We
all
talk
the
about that.
time.
you know what it does psychologically? It makes you feel like you should be awarded just for participating. So
I know it.
So the first time somebody bullies you,
God, I'll get so heated on it.
well, think about it. If you get a trophy for everything you came in last place doing, the first person who comes to you and says you're ugly, it's going to destroy you
Yeah.
because you've never had to deal with, not just being turned down, but rejection.
It builds character.
It does
I
build
try
character.
to tell parents this all the time at
Yeah.
dance.
So
I'm like, this is good for them.
Dave Chappelle said it. I'm going to quote what Dave Chappelle says. So don't. I'm not in trouble. This is what Dave Chappelle said. He said, "I think in America we are a bunch of punk ass bitches."
I've heard that.
He's like, America has become nothing but a whole bunch of punk ass bitches. And I understand what he's saying because he's making you think. He's like, why? Yeah, man, you get offended when people talk to you like that, but it makes me think. It's like, yeah, why, man, we've become sensitive.
Oh yeah.
Like, put my kid in. No, your kid sucks.
Yep.
Like-
And that's okay. It's still like it's not bad for you to
like,
agree.
Yeah, he's at every practice though. She's at every practice. Good. Maybe we'll put her in next year.
Right.
Yes.
But right now she sucks.
Yes.
Well,
Well, what about her ego?
yeah.
She sucks.
But that's okay.
Yeah,
But work harder.
my daughters were on the bench, and I'm like, I take responsibility because I'm not the kid. I'm not the dad outside throwing the ball with them. I'm like, nah, you gonna learn that at school.
Well, Jolie was a dancer for me, and she was in
Her sister.
my sister
Yes.
Jolie, and she was in the back left corner a lot. And I was like, she was not ready. It doesn't mean I love her any less. It's my blood. And my mom was like, oh God, it's just not good. Like, it's not good right now. So we were honest. It doesn't mean you love your kid any less. It's just the
Yeah.
fact. Like, they're not ready.
Right.
And they'll
Listen,
do it
I
on their
want
own.
to. Well, it's like, well, if you put them out there, they're eventually gonna make something happen. Okay, make it happen in practice.
Right.
yeah.
And you know what? I'm not an athlete. I played saxophone. I went to a majority black school, so being in the marching band was cool because we danced, we went nuts. But I would always get kicked out right after football season for some reason. So I didn't really I didn't go to classical band or anything like that. But I really don't have the authority to even talk about sports and what should or what should not happen. But I do have the authority of talking about how you build character. And how you build character is the same way you learn how to walk.
Right.
Like, what if your kid fell down, the first time, like standing up, like, and boom, big old head fall down to the ground. And they're 7 months old, and you're like, let's not let him try that again.
No more
Yeah,
walking
because
for you.
No more walking.
people are gonna laugh at him. His ego is gonna be like, what if we really got to the point where it's like, okay, Pee Wee League, everybody gets a trophy. Well, let's even go further than that. Every kid who falls down at 9 months old, don't let them attempt walking again until they're 2, because we want them to have, we don't want people to bully them. Get the hell out of here with that.
It's being a parent, though. That's what we're saying all the time. People are no longer parents. They don't want to tell their children no. They're letting the
do.
children parent.
I get joy out of telling my kids no.
Oh, me too.
I'm
She
like,
does too.
what y'all want?
Love it.
I let them get all out. I knew I was gonna say no before they finished. I'm gonna get it all out because I'm building up for this big old no.
Nope.
No. I'm gonna sing it to them. Can I get a no?
Well, are you and Chris are more strict parents, right?
I would say we have a heavy hand.
They're exactly like me. That's
Yeah,
why I love it so
and
much.
that's why we have no
Stricter.
problem with our kids staying over, and they stay over your house more than anybody else's house, and they
love
want to
them.
go there. And Jolie comes to our house a lot too.
Yep.
And I know, like I love the fact that your Gabby mom is like, Is it okay if Jolie doesn't ride in the car with Psalms? Because Psalms is new. She's 16. I'm like, I respect that.
Yeah.
Because most parents would be like, I'm so afraid to tell the other parents what my standards are. Just don't go over there at all.
Right.
Because and we're the type of person we'll tell you, like, if your kid comes to my house, I'm gonna discipline him. Just like I would discipline mine.
Please do.
Like, and if your kid ever, I'll tell you on the air, if your kid ever disrespects me in my house, they will be on the porch waiting for you. They can't even wait in my house.
I love it.
You can't. Now nobody can disrespect me in my home. Like kids and kids are probably afraid of me in a sense. Like at school they are. I do that on purpose, but they have a level of fear. But people misconstrue the word fear and respect.
Respect.
It's really respect. It's honor.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you walk, I've been to the White House before, and when you walk in the White House, I'm walking with a level of honor and a level of fear at the exact same time because I don't want to go against protocol.
Right.
Like you're not supposed to sit on the furniture in the White House, but I was with Emmett Smith and they let me sit on the furniture because I was with Emmett. If I wasn't with Emmett, I wouldn't be able to touch the furniture.
Right.
So it's okay to have fear when you're in somebody else's house until you understand their protocol.
Right.
I got that from my dad.
That's really
I think
good.
it's good though. There are rules. There's rules in life.
I just don't do it with a gun in my hand. I don't think I ever have. Have I ever talked?
Not yet.
Okay.
Jolie might call you crying. Mom.
We've never had any issue with Jolie.
Oh no, she loves going over your house.
She's a mini Wimbrey.
She loves it there. That's for sure. If she could, she would walk to your house every day.
Yeah.
Trust me.